This conference will now be recorded.
Good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. All the council's present except for Terry Collinson. She had surgery today. So.
And she's actually online. So.
Is she online? Good.
Dedicated.
Terry. So we'd like to have everyone please rise for the pledge of meditation. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, again, we pray that we soon have peace in the world. Be with each and every one of them that's trying to fight this conflict and get it straightened out and we get back to peace. Be with our soldiers that are over in unfamiliar territory. Be with them, guide them, keep them safe, bring them back to peace. Lord, as we go into our mayor and council meeting, please guide us in a godly manner that we make the right decisions to benefit the town and the town's people. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Does everyone have a chance to review the minutes? The draft minutes for a regular meeting on October 9th.
I got one correction, Kim. I don't know if you noticed or not, but under new business, the motion that I made about the tax collections was in there twice.
Okay, the motion was,
Yeah,
motion's listed
yeah,
twice.
yeah.
Okay.
One of those needs to be removed, that's all. Same thing I saw.
Whoops, gotcha. Did we ever fill in the end? I missed that one, I sent her. Do we need from the executive session, motion to go in and out?
Yeah, if you guys want to just give that to me, I can add that too.
Okay. I took all those minutes, but I
Yeah,
emailed you all, but I guess I gotta just make the, I'll get it to you.
Just email them to me.
Yeah, I didn't see that, sorry.
Any other corrections? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as corrected.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Treasurer's report.
Okay, as of the end of October, the general fund is carrying a balance of $1,722,195.91. It is noted in there, we're still working on the corrections and trying to get the $1 million that's got to be sorted between the general fund and the ARPA funds. And hopefully one day we're going to do that before we. On the water side, the water fund ended up with a balance at the end of October of $895,657.74. Nothing there of difference or outstanding, just normal transactions. The sewer fund at the end of October ended up with a balance of $12,526.46. As far as our CDs, they're all town CDs, all through the both banks, the Fulton and Middletown, along with our Wells Fargo assets, and we closed out the month at $2,490,070.48. Other accounts, we have our restricted funds, the money market at Middletown Valley Bank with a balance of $2,685,142.27. The American Rescue Plans Act funds that we're holding at Middletown Valley Bank is carrying a balance of $3,058,909.07. The water fund has a user fee money market account at Middletown Valley Bank with a balance of $186,557.25. And the sewer fund has a user fees money market account also at Middletown Valley Bank with a current balance of $101,200.97. Correct, I think that's everything we have.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions?
Like, because we've got that rescue fund money split between funds. When I added the two together, I didn't get what's on the report. The same thing happened with the CDs. He's got the money market, he's got a CD redeem listed in the money market account, but it doesn't show that way on the balance sheet. So, the balance sheet has 2,239, and the report is saying 2,490.
So the ARP funds and then the CDs, they don't balance out.
Yeah, I think he forgot to correct the money market balance on the report.
Okay.
To make those fees come out. And then there was a difference.
Any other questions?
Only thing I was gonna mention to Tony, he and I haven't been able to be hooked up here, we're busy, but he indicated the money market interest rate went down, the pound dollar, and we were gonna talk about that at some point, but we haven't called up yet.
No, and you're gonna be having surgery, so it won't be anytime soon.
Did the money market just in general go down because they haven't given us a better rate?
They have. and they
So
dropped.
our rate went down.
Yeah, just on one account so far, and, yeah. So we
Just
just
to
gotta
say, I know that we have been getting a better.
Oh,
rate.
yeah.
Keep an eye on that, so the other ones don't go down too. Any other discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as corrected?
I'll make that motion, that's correct.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same, abstain, motion carries. Ray, what we got for public comments?
Well. Hey, Bill.
Hello, I was here just wondering about updates on 21 St. Paul's.
We've checked with the county building inspectors, they sit down, they check things out. They don't need any permits for what they're doing, is that correct, Drew?
Yes, sir.
So they are coming along. They're not moving as fast as everybody would like to see them, but they are making corrections. You want to add anything to that, Drew?
So they're still in the trail.
They are currently still in the trailer. The latest update is, since the fines were issued, they have been providing weekly updates as to the progress in the home. They have also informed the town that their sister, they're gonna be moving in with their sister. She bought a house last week. She's getting her stuff moved in this week, and they're gonna be moving in next week out of the trailer. They will continue working on the home. They may stay overnight on a Saturday night or something when they're working over the weekend to do the improvements. But the plan is that they're gonna be out of that trailer the next week.
As they continue to work, have they been accruing fines daily, or because you're working with them, have the fines been?
The fines are being held in abeyance right now as they continue to keep communication lines open and progress moves forward on the house.
So they were fined for 1 day, is that what you're telling me?
That's correct. They were fined for 1 day.
So that was not the way it was supposed to be. Because the letter clearly said that they would be fined $100 per day.
They did, and they were fined for 1 day. And then there were 5 days that we waived the fee because someone had called in a stop work order to the county, and there were 2 separate times that they had to stop working while the county reviewed the work that they were doing. We did not find them those days that they were not allowed to work on the property because somebody called in a zoning violation. Now, the county permits inspector, I've met with him out there on site. He has told me there is absolutely nothing that they're doing in that home that requires any kind of a building permit whatsoever. It is cosmetic, it is painting walls, it is refinishing floors and things of that nature. I get weekly emails from them, I get pictures of the progress. They're moving forward. Please keep in mind, Mr. Bell, that if they decided that they didn't want to do anything, the only thing the town can do according to the town code is to fine them. We can't move them out of the trailer.
I'm aware of that.
Okay. So I think the goal that we're all working towards, at least I thought we were working towards, was to get them out of the RV. We have their attention, progress is moving on the home, and they're planning on moving in with their sister in a week. You find that unacceptable to work with?
No, but I mean, the goalposts constantly are changing. First it was 30 days, then it was another 30 days, and then it was after the 25th, fined every day $100. And then there was a decision made, okay, we're working with you, so then the fines go away. So, I mean, the council member who's not here today, she asked at the end, she said she had a concern about the sewage that, and you said there was an orange pipe that it was going somewhere.
I know that we went out and checked that. They're not connected to the sanitary sewer there. They're probably using the bathroom in the house, I would guess, the ones that they haven't taken apart yet. Again, I don't know. Again, the goal is to get them out of the RV. They are showing progress with progress pictures of the same rooms. You can see that it's moving forward, and they're planning on moving in with their. I'm trying to move the football forward to get them out of the RV. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's what everyone has wanted. But I mean, if they're in the RV still, and they have been since the 26th, then the sewer, I mean, there's no real clarity on where the sewer is going. And as I've stated before, and people who also live on the street who mow back there said that during the summer, the stench is unbelievable. So, I mean, I would think from a health perspective, the town would also be concerned about that.
They were not hooked to the sanitary sewer system. I don't know what facilities they use to go to the bathroom. They have working facilities inside the home. I don't know. I haven't gone to that level yet because we're getting progress. I'm not sure what you're looking for, but as far as I'm concerned as the zoning administrator, there is progress moving forward, and as long as there continues to be progress moving forward and they get out of the RV, I am not going to find them.
So Drew, the sister lives locally, you know?
She does?
So it's not like they have to travel a long way.
No, they just said that they
I
like.
also want to walk that property, they are not hooked to the sanitary system at all. There's no pipes coming out anywhere. The pipe she's talking about is an old drain pipe laying on the ground. I walked up and looked at it myself.
Okay, but I mean, the smell from sewer from the trailer
That could be
have to
coming,
be coming from somewhere.
that could be coming from anywhere. You got sewer manholes all around your property. So I mean, that could be coming from anywhere.
If you detected an odor of sewer, give us a call. I'll come out and take a look. Happy to.
I went out the next morning after our mayor and council meeting that last month. I went the next morning and walked that whole property. They definitely are not hooked to our sanitary system. And they're not dumping it on the ground either.
Actually, Kathy Besley and friends.
Actually, it's just me.
Okay, so you're also on,
Correct.
so you want to just accept it? And put them- Okay.
You wanna-
Yeah, good deal, all right. Whoever else is in line. And friends.
I have a concern about litter. Kathy Leslie, 101 Red Fern Crestview. When I was a little girl, back in the dark ages, my mother drilled into me, Kathy, don't dare litter. So I have lived with that my whole life. My husband and I go for walks in Crestview, not every day, several times a week. And I realized that, I think, the way I understand it, the street sweeper idea is kind of off the table right now.
No, we are in the process of working with Williamsport. Williamsport has one,
And it's sharing.
and we're working out an agreement with them
Okay, perfect.
to have at least once a month.
I would like to, excellent. That might not be enough. I wanted to show you Exhibit A. This is what we pick up
This is about 3 days worth of trash that we pick up every time we go for a walk. And that to me is disgusting.
It's just in front of my house.
No, Ray, yours is fine. So I had a couple of ideas. I brought this up in front of the EDC before. But maybe we could put something in the newsletter about littering. That's one thing. Another thing is maybe having people pick up just what's in front of between your property lines out to the middle of the street. Pick up the trash in front of your house. How hard can that be? And the other thought I had was maybe having a weekend trash pickup in town. I'm sure Crestview is the only place that has litter, maybe it is, I don't know. And kids could get SSL hours for helping, for volunteering for that. And maybe that could be something that we could try to do. But to me, this is terrible.
On that you see right along the highways, different times of different months, different organizations are going around and picking it up.
Right. I did that at the high school when I worked there.
Might not be a bad idea to go to these different civic organizations and see if they would take a street a month or every so many months.
Sure,
Whether they
sure.
Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Cub Packs, different brown troops.
Right.
There's all kinds of groups and organizations. Contact the American Legion, see where they would be willing to do something like that, even the churches.
I think that's a great idea. I think we should start a common, but
Oh, I agree,
It's
too.
a very sad situation where you're having this discussion that people don't know better and so
Right.
trash the further and house without even being like.
I think it might be kids,
Like,
kids more so than adults, because there's
Oh,
one
obviously,
street in Crestview that's really,
King Road is,
more than,
and I come out of the neighborhood and go on King Road.
I know.
Susan cleans it up every day.
I know.
And people are stuff, and you go outside of town and nobody's stealing stuff on King Road. And there's one, but they come in, as soon as you get in town limits, there's stuff every day and it's ridiculous. And I don't, and it's.
And the stuff on King is worse because I've seen beer bottles and a lot of alcohol related trash.
What people are holding the trash until they get to the town limits.
Yeah. Alcohol.
But that was where I was going, Kathy. We do these things doing, me living on Orchard Drive, I get all the kids from school walking by my house.
Right.
And I'll get the candy wrappers and the soda bottles and that stuff pretty regular, and I'll just go pick it up. But you don't really live in an area where kids would be walking from school, so who do you think's doing that? Can't imagine somebody driving down the road and throwing stuff out the window. That's what you really always think.
Well, I just wanted to bring that up. I think that's right.
So are you proposing that suggestions like, what Howard talked about, or do you have the EDC have something that they would like to do?
Easy.
I'm sorry, EDC, I'm sorry.
Right.
EDC.
We can talk about it tomorrow. If we have time.
Does the town have a, like a cleanup day, like a trash cleanup day?
Just in the park.
But
Candy rubber.
Yeah.
you know, I picked
So,
miniature up from my
And the EDC, speaking of EDC, is that might be something good, and I can bring the picture, is that, move the local businesses can.
Yeah.
And I can throw that out again, we're having a mixture.
But you're right, it begins at home. I mean, I walk around, circling up on a weekly basis. It doesn't hurt to bend down and pick that stuff up. It's gotten so when my 5-year-old does it now. She'll go around and go, look, Poppy.
You're training her early.
That's it.
You will put a note in the newsletter here.
Oh, yeah.
I do remember a while back, and I mean a while back, where the town emphasized people to make sure that their trash bags are sealed. I know it doesn't help with the loose, single strip, but the actual trash, sometimes people just put their trash into a large container. And then that you know, I noticed just walking Main Street, you see more trash on Tuesdays, just because of the process of collection. And I expect the occasional can or something to get blown while it's being dumped into the bin, but small wrappers and things like that, if we just even put out a reminder to people to seal those trash bags, it may help some.
Sure, right, I see it on our street, on day of the trash. on Tuesdays.
I'm not usually one to recommend extra plastic, but it's not. Helps.
Thank you.
So that, you were on the list, so that's your,
I can
one more person, I cannot read the writing.
Oh, no, that was me.
That's you. One of your friends. Okay. Do you want to do it separately or wait till?
No, we're all.
They're on the
We're
agenda.
friends.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yes, Audrey, the floor is yours. So make sure that goes out in the next newsletter,
Oh, yeah.
please.
And I'll start promoting it too.
We can have a trash campaign.
I can remember
We can just make
reading
one.
back in like in 1800s,
Just kind of get people aware of
1860 or
doing it.
something, that they levied fines on people that didn't clean up in front of their house. Their towns. That is poopy and
Ricky,
all
when
that.
we were kids, you got a fine if you threw that in the car, do you remember?
Yeah.
Well, you still should.
Well,
I guess
oh, I
you still do.
I mean,
Pardon, yes.
So that will.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they were levying fines.
Okay, I like the Native American.
George.
They cried.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm just here to provide a little update on this fall at Schaefer Park. So we have the blessing of the park board on the layout. Ray and Laura. Have walked the park layout with Jackson, and they're all in agreement of all 18 holes. So now comes the fun part of finding the money. So I've met with Jared here, and the current plan is to apply for hotel rental tax funds and match that with a sponsorship program in which we are looking at businesses and various organizations. And it would be a limit to 18 sponsors, well, 18. It's 18 sponsors for each hole, and then 20 like almost friends of. So tonight I'm asking for your blessing. I don't want to go and create another nonprofit that supports the park and the project for use of the town as a bank for this particular sponsorship to match the hotel rental tax fund. So essentially, any sponsor would just submit their check to the town of Boonesboro, memo, no string fee, get small sponsorship. And all those funds would be specific for this program.
There's another nightmare waiting to happen, but yeah, I get you.
Within the park, because currently the Waytime for nonprofit status is 12 to 16 months in the state of Maryland. And we'd like to continue to keep this project moving forward, because it really is easy. I also have 5 sponsors already in the wings that they want to write a check. And so we're not talking about an insane amount of and yeah, so I'm going here. I have the last page in my hand, but I've only been giving out the page that you see to people because I don't have a direction to send money. But I met with Kim and Jared, and everybody on the town is on board with it, just so long as I officially have your blessing on record. Our sponsors are the CBB, Pathfinder, I have a private sponsor, and those are all for actual
goals. So I think they were looking at the ACE sponsorship. I'm hoping ACE Hardware will go for that ACE sponsorship too. The total project budget at this time is about 15,000. We have a beautiful disc golf course, and the benefits, I'm working with local entities. Copy Quick is actually looking at wrapping all the baskets, so they would be branded to represent that business, again, bringing our businesses to a little bit of the park and vice versa. And we have a individual on our like little committee who is donating their time for this graphic.
Brian's on board. Brian's aware of this. There'll be one Friday receiving checks.
No, I didn't talk to, no, I haven't
Oh,
talked
it'll
to
just
anybody
go
about
into.
that.
It'll just go into general fund, yeah.
Yeah.
It won't go into the actual restricted fund. It'll just be, right.
A couple questions, because some of this, I don't know, that was answered last time we spoke, but. So what was the total project cost again?
15,000.
17,000?
So the goal of the sponsorship fund would be 75, and then the application for the hotel rental tax would be 75, 700, which gives us 15,000. If your hotel rental tax, I mean, it's under 24,500, you just need staff approval. At the county level, you don't need commissioner approval.
Well, what, how much have you raised your sponsorship so far?
4,000 verbally. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, I apologize, what was that total number again?
15.
And is that for purchasing everything and installing?
So the installation would be done for the volunteers. So there's a couple of golf clubs that we've been working on. This is this opportunity. So there's a disc golf club in Middletown, and we've expressed, had people see the notes on the meeting agenda and on the website through the town and reach out and say, let us know how we can help. So installation will definitely be for the volunteers. And estimated 1 to 2 days of installation, and we would coordinate that with the park board and making sure that we have representatives from the park board present and to oversee that. And then it's really about purchasing the materials and the signage. That's where the money is coming from. And these would be for tournament level baskets, because the CBD, who is a sponsor, they're already looking at bringing in a tournament that they can pair with Ditto Farms. Middletown just, they're just overseen by the county, but it's located in the Middletown Park.
In park.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. They actually just redid the layout because they invested a ton of money to their park. That's our preferred course currently. If you just go to the town play, but it would be great.
Yeah, I guess Tony's question is about, you're applying to the Washington County for a $7,500 hotel motel grant.
Right.
Which is to be different than what the town has already received.
Yeah, so we can apply above and beyond,
Okay.
right, through the,
Yeah, I was looking at that.
or it could be done through the budget. So that was a conversation Jared and I were still having. So it could be, or we could do program open space if that, would restrict another program. It's really flexible. There's also the Professional Disc Golf Association that has grant opportunities, so a specific match, but we just need private funds to match any public funds that we go after. But I told Howard in the phone call, I'm very confident I can go any private or public.
None of these are good crossing, walkways or anything, correct?
No.
So that's the goal, is to limit that, but if the walkways.
Sound like
It's actually a rule with disc golf.
Okay, good.
Did I answer all your questions?
Kind of, a motel grant to Washington County. I'm not going to money. As I told you that last time. But
Yeah.
Taking that aside for a second, for instance, the POS grant requires a match. I guess I'd have to have a match in hand in order to show.
That's why I also would like the town to accept the sponsorship fund, so you have the matches. I'm prepared to go out and talk to every single business at the EDC networking.
So you're confident that those verbal matches, you could get a check for?
100%. Yeah, yeah.
So to piggyback on that then, how soon do you think you'll have your 7,500 in hand?
I would like to have it by early spring.
Okay.
Year-end giving's coming up. I would like to ask a lot of people. So it's my goal is to have this conversation last month, at the end of the game. But right now, I'm still sitting in verbal commitments and keeping it in forefront of mind.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
Because the Washington County also collects an amusement tax or any kind of grant we would do,
I can look into it.
you know what I mean, for that.
I'm not trying to put a lot of work on Jared.
Right. I'm just saying, like, I mean, to me, the amusement tax going to sub something else, you know, for
Yeah.
people's recreational.
The only thing is it doesn't generate the amusement tax.
Right,
So
right.
that might be a holdup, but I'm happy
Right.
to
Well,
inquire.
it's not hotel rental tax, but it generates people to come that, you know, get them maybe to do
And you're
something
extending the
else that
stay
way.
of the recreational element.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think it's an issue for us to collect the funds, so I'll make a motion that we accept the monies collected for the disc golf through the town of Boonesboro to be held in a miscellaneous account for their behalf.
Do I have a second?
But before you guys do that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Since this will be specifically the town section of the park, are you good with everything, the maintenance wise that you have?
I haven't even seen it. This is the first time I heard of it. But I got my kid paper, I guess, I mean, like you said, my question would be going across walkways that people would.
So in the initial visit and approval for mayor and council, we did provide the layout. I don't know how
I didn't get.
things changed and it did not get to you, so I apologize. We will convene at a separate time. and
Or
we
you
will-
can send it to me and I can make sure he gets it.
We will gladly actually walk the course with you. Then the first ask for the commitment from the town was the maintenance of the thoroughfares, which is not everyday mowing. And we discussed that with the council here. So that is something that was agreed through, but they can also use inmates, and it's primarily a spring through summer maintenance. It's not really a winter maintenance item. So our goal is not to make anyone's life harder than it is now. And hopefully just the natural foot traffic would help those thoroughfares maintain. And a lot of people walk the area already naturally. So we can have that conversation and make sure you review all of this.
Maintenance on the poles and chains and everything.
That'll be your volunteers. Yeah,
Because I
we talked
can just-
about the lock as well.
'Cause I can just see some of these kids walking down through, running and grabbing hold of them and whee.
I don't know about that. They're pretty.
Hopefully they are.
They have them up at the elementary
Yeah, there's
school.
3 baskets.
It doesn't appear that they've been, you know what I mean, by
You know,
those
some of
kids,
their
but I
kids
asked
in
teachers
town,
a while.
they're trying.
Unfortunately, I do. One of them knocked over my little free library.
But that's fine, I mean, we can proceed with that, even, anything that we need to discuss necessarily has to do with your decision, so you can proceed. That's fine.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand. I lost you.
Yeah, right after somebody is sponsoring one in his name for Christmas.
All in favor, say aye. Who's the same? Abstain. Motion carried. Your wife gonna do it for you?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is the price range on
It depends on what type of basket you get, so,
Just write a check for $500.
Oh, coming back, okay.
yeah,
Whenever I know people.
yeah. There, probably come from
Yep.
someone.
Somebody that's just
I
ready
know
to
you,
come.
so.
Somebody that is just ready.
He's a tax write-off. Yeah, I know people.
There you go.
There you go, might be one of your ace sponsors for you.
There you go, Odd.
Okay, facilities, reports, public works, Greg?
How you guys doing? I'll start with the park. The park's all put away, winterized, everything's good to go down there. We almost finished decorating for old time Christmas, which is coming real fast, like 15 days. Isaac from the park board went out, picked out a tree. We tagged a bunch of trees at the Good Spirit Tree Farm. We went out this morning and picked out the best looking one that we could handle with our equipment. So we are gonna get another cut tree this year. And we have not found one with a ball yet. They do not do that. They don't offer that service. So Isaac's looking for somebody that would maybe donate it to us. I don't know. He's trying to find one for the park.
Okay.
The sewer collection side, everything's flowing good. Everything's been fine, knock on wood. The water distribution side, on the other hand, is just blowing apart everywhere. Like once a week, we're fixing water leaks. On the weekends, we just fixed one today on Center Street. I'll let Jessica speak a little more on this, but we normally don't run the spring in the wintertime because a lot of you guys know the temperature difference. So that water shocks the pipes and blows them apart. And so, I mean, that's pretty much all I have. I'll let him speak when I want to step on his toes. They're having a hard time keeping the reservoir up. They're having to run the spring all the time. It's not stopping. It's just not good. We just fixed one on Center Street, St. Paul Street, High Street. We did another one out in Crestview, and every time we do this, it's thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, if you get the ones out front of Ray's house, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars to fix them. By the time it's blacktop back shut and the manpower and like all the equipment, it's costing us a lot of money. So we need to get on top of this reservoir. I mean, everybody already knows it.
Yeah, we have an update. Joe and I have a little update on the reservoir. I didn't ask Jesse to prepare anything for tonight since we kind of was here on behalf of Pete, who will be here at the next meeting. We'll be back this week, hopefully. So, but I did ask him to be here for any questions you guys ask.
The bad part is the lost water, you can't tell. Nobody knows how much water's coming out of that pipe. You can take a wild guess. It could be 300,000, it could be 700,000. You don't know. You don't know how long it leaked. You don't know if it leaked 12 hours, if it leaked 36 hours. So we're losing a lot of lost water that we don't have a clue what it is.
All deflated.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
What's the difference between what's happening like in Crestview? You know, there's a problem with the house and that actual infrastructure and the other areas. Is this something that, well, wait, I mean, it's more expensive when it breaks in Crestview because of, it's that valve.
Because it's a valve. It's just a water line. I just cut the water line. I cut the water line out with 2 hot matches in and a new piece of pipe. The water line's a lot cheaper than replacing.
You're slicing up here, but you got to do a valve.
If I got to change the whole valve system, like that's when you're getting tens of thousands of dollars.
Jesse, you have anything you'd like to say since you're here? You're welcome to. The floor is yours, buddy.
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Sludge festival is going good, all storage is going good. They started masonry today when the actual festival, so construction's rolling.
Good. They hit a schedule.
They're doing good. I think they were talking about the end of January, they'll be able to get us a better date if we'll be able to draw.
That's good. That's better than March and April. That's good. Thanks for doing a good job filling in for us. We appreciate that. Thank you. Anybody have any questions of Public Works or anything?
I have a question for Greg. Dumb it down here a little bit, Greg. So I'm used to working on old rusted up pickup trucks with brake on. I just brake all the time, right? You patch it here, it breaks over here. You patch it there, then it breaks back here. Do you notice that when you're patching these water lines, like when you out here today, I noticed fixed. You think tomorrow it's gonna break 6 foot down the line?
Yeah, we actually found another patch like six inches down from the one I fixed today, which I've been here 21 years and I didn't do that patch. Every way before my time. So yeah, they're just non-stop.
Same scenario.
That's just an old galvanized pipe line up that street that feeds that old house right there in the corner, right beside us. And you turn out the first little ranch on the left for sale. So that old galvanized pipe's in real shape, like real bad shape. We'll probably got to take the whole road up all the way down to the main and replace the whole thing.
Probably because they're just like a afterthought added, because it divided a lot of house back there.
Good deal. Colin told me to ask that. He's used old rusted up trucks too.
It's the same way. That's the pipe, the same way.
Don't leave. I'm ready for you. They're ready to go. You said, and I looked up, you were gone. Sorry, Drew.
Yeah, the planning report and the zoning report before you. On the planning side, comprehensive plan, we are working with the Boonesboro Utilities Commission to schedule a joint meeting to start the comprehensive plan. And we'll have a draft schedule for the comprehensive plan update. Annexations, Fluke and TT&K properties, working with the fire and ambulance company on future emergency facilities on the Fluke property. That's something that the developer has offered and we're looking into. Major subdivisions, the Preserve Fox Gap, we did get the insurance adjuster provided the detailed report on the improvements not completed. This is all part of calling the bond. This is all part of that process. And the first thing that has to happen is they have to send somebody out and review it, see what wasn't done. He confirms what we know, it wasn't done. So it's going down the next phase. Sycamore Run phases 1, 2, and 3, we did final acceptance last week. That means it's all the town's baby. All the 1-year warranty's gone through. Greg did a walkthrough. Councilman Kitchens was with us as well. All the bonds have been released. That's 100% the town's. No text amendments. On the zoning report, we have a variance Board of Appeals case on the 21st at 7 o'clock. That's for the Mount Nebo Church. We already talked about 21 St. Paul Street today. Orchard Drive was sent a letter. Somebody on the planning commission notified me that they thought someone was living in an RV there, so we sent a notification to the property owner. 611 North Main Street, we're scheduling a subcontractor to clean up the site. They were notified by certified letter to clean up the problems that are there. At Young Avenue, we're scheduling the contractor to cut the grass. They had a grass violation, and so we're going down those roads. So that's a summary of what those are. You also have on the zoning thing, the zoning certificates that we've issued this month.
Hey, Drew, the question I have, so the public hearing that I saw advertised in the paper, is that the Mount Nebo then?
Yes, sir.
So when we did the walkthrough, Greg did like something in the stormwater bonds. They've taken care of that out of Sycamore?
They have.
They weeded them all out and took out everything they needed to.
I don't know if it's appropriate now to ask the question about the stop versus yield signs at the, whatever you call them.
The roundabout? There are some standards in the MUTCD, that's the Uniform Code for Traffic Controls. But I think one of the first steps that we should pursue is, it was my understanding that because we had not granted final acceptance of the roads, that the police department was not issuing tickets and fines on those roads because it hadn't been finally accepted by the town.
Right.
Now that that has changed, now that the police chief is aware of it and Amy is aware of it, the deputies now know it. I think before we had that road, let's do the enforcement.
Well, and not so much, well, I know there was terms of speed, but there was a question about whether they should be stop signs coming from the side, or should they be yields because of roundabout? That's been the debate in the safety commission.
It's been in there for, what, 2 years now, 3 years now, we've not had a single accident in these roundabouts. So what's there is working.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think putting stop signs there.
There are stop signs, that's the problem. There's stop signs and they're saying they should be yield, right? Isn't that?
There's one stop sign.
Okay, so there's only one
And that's
stop
coming out
sign.
West Spring, right?
It's down at the end.
But again, I think the idea was that the collector road, which is the one that goes all the way through, was to be the free flowing traffic. I'm happy to look into it, but I know the concerns that you had raised last time were more on the line of commuters speeding through there, I think, than there was safety, yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned
They
both.
were talking about, the stop sign on the side that comes down about the roundabout.
I'll take a look back through the original site plan and see what the reasoning was.
Yeah.
And I can quote you what the MUTCD is if you'd like. So,
I did, that's all the safety commission is, because there's a big debate. One thinks they should be one, and one thinks they should be another. I don't know. As long as everybody's happy or you're able to enforce what's
West Wing,
there.
the one that runs parallel to Young Avenue, is that where the stop sign is? Okay.
Yeah, right there, then you come back.
And that would be,
And that's kind of like a major road coming into it.
yeah.
And that's probably why they have the stop sign.
That
But
makes
all of them coming down Monument is all yield. That's all yield. That's making continuous.
Right, because it's not supposed to be stopped. Got it.
Any other questions for Drew?
I just want to say, Drew showed up to the EDC meeting we had. and answered a few questions from the EDC and was able to launch into an unrehearsed impromptu, totally off the cuff presentation on the future of Boonesboro, which was excellent. And the EDC truly appreciated the fact that he was there and answered a lot of questions about, talk about the future of the town and growth and what we have to do. So thank you, Drew. That's a lovely guy.
Thank you, sir.
I've got one for you, Drew.
Yes, sir.
The old GSAC building or the unfold up here, we're next to their kitchen. Somebody had a tent in there last week, 2 weeks ago. Someone from the apartments called and complained about it. When I went up there, I couldn't find the tent. But they're complaining now about the skateboarders up there now. My understanding that the owner of that property, who lives in Florida, if I'm not wrong, he doesn't care. So how can I go up there and run somebody off of property when the owner doesn't care? What's the plan? Have you any idea? Anyone have any idea what's going on?
I don't think there's been communication with him for a good while.
Well, he has
Oh, he has.
reached out to me relatively recently, I think it was maybe 2 months ago or so.
I mean, we had a contact one time and I tried that number. It just rang and rang and rang. Nothing happened.
Okay, I mean, he called me, so I'm not sure if I have his contact information or not, I'll have to check, but, last I heard, he had an original plan, which the council already knew about for some housing there. He said he wanted to change his plan, so I gave him some recommendations as to how to do that, come up with some sort of concept plan, so he had some ideas, he said he was gonna finish a concept plan and come back to the town with that. Again, that was 2 months ago, I haven't heard since then. So I know he is at least still thinking about the property. I don't know that he has an actual plan to do it.
I tell people there's nothing I can do, it's private property, but then, they, well, now they got a tent up there and this, and again, we couldn't find a tent, but apparently there was one there because we called and said, hey, my tent's been moved home with all my belongings. That's we were trespassing on private property, so maybe they get something with it. But again, I just wondered if there was any plans for that piece of property. That, so when people call me, I have an answer for them to say,
Over 55 houses.
yeah. So instead of just saying, yeah, I don't know.
That would suit me, but over 55,000 is what the original.
That's what it was.
That's what the plan that was referred to.
He was going 3 stories. He went 3 stories at one time.
He wanted to change it.
Only talked him out of it.
So the guy still, the same guy still in the
Yeah, same
property.
thing.
Yeah, I sent you his contact. Thank you,
Drew
Drew.
got contact?
Yes, sir.
Anything else for Drew?
No, actually, I just got one.
Jared?
Okay. Just briefly, real quickly, I got some handouts for you guys from the 3 plus 1 company that was 2 months ago, I believe. Just some updated information that I requested from them that I couldn't send it back because I just got it this morning. But I'm not really going to discuss it. I just wanted to give it to you to look at. And then I will bring it back in December's meeting for discussion. And then I'd like to have some sort of decision in January from you guys as to how we would like to move forward. So just wanted to provide that information for you to take a look at. With any questions as you read through, please give me a call and I will, if I can't answer it, I will get them to answer it for me and send it to you. Couple of smaller items. We received the final draft of Schaefer Park Trail plans. I signed that and we sent it to the county for their approval today. Were you on that email? No, okay, I'll send that to you. Take a look at it. I just got it today. So once we get that final approval, we can start to move forward with actual construction. Depending on the weather, we'll see when we can actually get started on that. Up the plans.
Could you send me that email as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
Yeah. Just a couple things I'll kind of get off the list here. I discussed the Chase 6 MOU, the updated Chase 6 MOU with Ann this morning. She's reviewing it right now. She should get back to me this week with her any comments she might have, at which time she'll discuss it with the county's attorney. And if we have a agreed upon MOU, I'll bring it back to the council for discussion. And once we get that done, we can start moving forward a lot. So that'll be a big part of it. The engineering plans, I believe, are still with SHA. Drew, is that correct?
That's correct. They're on their third review.
Third review with SHA, so we're waiting to hear back from that reception portion.
And what the developer is paying for is the full design within the state highway right of way. I can't overemphasize that enough, how expensive that is. That is a lot of money. Because it'll be 30 or 40 sheets of engineering drawings and everything else. I did confirm with B&R Group that that is being paid for by the developer. That is not being paid for by the town. Now, he's not paying for the construction.
Correct.
Okay, but that's, trust me, that's a very big ticket item.
And then also on that, once the MOU is executed, we will work with the property owner, Drew and I will work with the property owner to work out a plan for that demolition and restructuring.
Was there a question on my left?
No, sir.
Okay. So the reservoir was brought up a little bit tonight. We're losing a lot more water. I mean, we don't have a definite number. I believe Drew and he have come up with a number upwards of 100,000 gallons. We are still working towards funding the same way that I brought up these last couple of months. We're working directly with state legislatures, the legislature. We're working federally with elected officials. I am working on grant applications all for this project. However, I'm also going to come up with a list of 3 or 4 loan possibilities for the town. We need to have something in place in case of an emergency happens, and in case we do not get the total amount of funding that we need to complete the full project. I know nobody ever wants to talk about loans, but I think it's going to have to happen. We're going to have to have a list of possible loans, and I'm going to do that both public and private. To our bank, to talk about lines of credit, talk with both MDE and DHCD about their loan programs. I had a meeting set up with USDA about their loan program. So I will have a list of loan possibilities as well as stipulations. To see what best fits the town projects. So I'm hoping to have that by our December meeting, just for discussion, and then we can talk about that first city of January.
Yeah, Drew and I talked, or Jarrett and I talked, we had got to be prepared just in case the state or the federal government doesn't come through for us. We got to have a backup plan. So this is getting worse.
Yeah.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, it's gonna.
And the longer we wait, the worse it's going to be, and the more expensive it's going to be.
All we'd ask is maybe when we're looking at loans to do our best to make sure they allow us to have a early repayment without penalty. So if we get grant funding or other, money that we can put it on there that we're not locked in like we got with the sewer.
One of the major things that you all are going to have to decide when it comes to a loan is, what are you looking for? When I'm talking about a structure, I'm not talking about, are you looking at gap financing? Are you looking at a short-term financing until you get these federal funds? Because where you are right now, if you have 100%, they just completed the design of the reservoir. So the next step is to go into permitting. So we got to get all the permits and the grading permits and all that stuff. That's going to take a little while. But what we're saying is not waiting now. Let's put some things in place that say, hey, we all want the grant money. We all know that. But let's be honest, it ain't gonna pay for it all. It never does. So we need to be ready for different options of what come down. What we want to start is, let's have that debate now while we're getting the permitting, so we can go right from permitting, right to bidding, right to construction. What we don't want is to get the designs are done. We get all the permitting, we bid it, and then we're not sure how we're going to pay for it. We spend 3 months looking at loans. Loan documents take a while. The banks are going to want to see 3 years of audited statements. They're going to want to come in and see, where's your comprehensive plan? Oh, it's not updated. Why isn't it updated? There's a whole loan thing that goes on. We can be doing that behind the scenes so that we're ready for whatever comes down. We all know what we want, but we always don't always get what we want. So that's kind of the avenue that we're headed down. And what I'm asking you all to think about is, don't think about the specific loan, but are you looking to finance it for a short period of time until the other money comes along? Are you looking to finance it for a short period of time until development starts picking up and you start selling EDUs to pay it off? Or do you just want to do a straight loan? I mean, there are options. You can go the municipal bond where you're locked into a 10-year no call, which I hear you don't want. Just understand, if you don't want the 10-year no call, you're going to pay higher interest rate. It's a trade-off. So think structure a little bit now, and then you can start seeing some of the numbers of what do you feel comfortable with, and what does the council feel is the right financial decision to move forward.
And not only that, kind of going back to what was brought up earlier, gap financing, things of that nature. Some of these loans may be able to be paid back by grants or by issuances from the state. Some will not be able to. Certain bonds, for instance, the HCD is a tough one in that way, because you are kind of locked into a specific amount of time you have to pay back the loan. Now, I was told, I'm not sure exactly what that is, and I will get that information for you, but Drew's correct. I mean, we have to think about all those types of things, and I will think about it. I'll get it kind of, I'll lay it out as simply as I can for everybody to make sure you can kind of see the pluses and minuses of all these different programs to make the best decision. But we are going to have to start thinking.
Oh, absolutely.
Also on the reservoir, I'm recommending that we get divers back in the reservoir. The amount of leaking going on in there, I know we just keep band-aiding it, but it needs to be band-aided. I talked to Howard about this a little bit. I'm fine with using whoever we need to, but we need to get someone in there that not only has the credentials to actually be training down there and kind of find some leaks for us, but we need to fix them. We need to have somebody that can actually go down there and patch some of this stuff for us in the meantime. We can't keep losing 100,000 gallons a day until we get this thing fixed. So I'm just throwing that out. I'm just throwing that out there to everyone that my recommendation is to get divers back there again. And I'm gonna work on coming up with maybe a couple of companies that we may have to pay to do it, but we'll get down there and actually fix it for us. And I don't mean fix, obviously, fix the whole problem. Let's slow it down to the point where we're not so worried about the amount of water that we're losing to this construction going. So that is my recommendation. I am going to start reaching out to see what I can find, get some costs. I'll work with Washington County still, Fire Rescue also still, just to see what they can do for us. But that is something I'm going to be looking into. There's a discussion of that. We have, okay, there's a couple other things I'll talk about, but Drew and I will talk about new business. So as far as my updates, my report's concerned.
Questions? Anybody got any questions of Jared?
Did you?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
Pete does have a go-to dive team that they use for inspections, and they have done repairs. The problem is their scheduling is so far out. I think one of the meetings, they were 3 or 4 months out scheduling. So that's where the partnership came in with Frederick County Fire and Rescue, their dive team. But that Pete does have a go-to company, so you might want to talk to him.
Actually, we're going to meet this week. It's a great partnership.
Sure.
I very much agree.
But I agree with your sentiment. At a certain point in time, there needs to be a legitimate and a liability that also falls into it. I appreciate giving that volunteer company an opportunity to train, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff.
Well, I scribbled down all kinds of stuff here while you.
Oh, excellent.
Way back when we didn't think the leak was as bad, we had talked about replacing that line. I just wonder if it's even worth entertaining that again. couple $100,000 or something last time.
The last time we talked about it, I think it was about 350.
Yeah.
But also when we started talking about it, the reservoir replacement was 3 million and now it's up to 8 million.
Yeah.
So-
So I just scribbled that down and he, I want to give her a lead nod because the last time that I did one of these loans, I learned something, what not to do again. And you're right, wasn't used to these kind of loans, so we need to think about the early payoffs. But something for us to keep in mind, you hear what we're talking about, you know what's coming up, the next fiscal year's budget. You know, we have a 7-year plan that I put together for water and sewer rates. We better not forget it. We might have to talk about that soon. So, and Colin and I had a little talk the other night about the reservoir's leaking. We all know it's leaking. I'm not sure 100% of our loss is up there.
Oh, it's not.
So we have another thing that we're gonna talk about here. We have to decide to take some more tours of the water plants and look at some meters and stuff again. And Drew threw a comment out there about EDUs to pay off what we're gonna do. Don't forget, that's what got us in trouble with the sewer plant before. We can't make that mistake again, so we have to look at all these different types of things. So it's all very interesting stuff, but we might have to go with a loan for this reservoir or multiple ones. So don't forget, when it's budget discussion, we can't just say, well, gee, how are we gonna pay for this? We might have to look at our year 2 of our 7-year plan. And, I think we're gonna have an entertaining BMUC meeting Wednesday night.
Too bad you won't be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion on Jared's report? Thank you, sir. Police Department. Chief?
All righty. Last month, we had 70 calls for service. We made 110 traffic stops. Had a parking citation, a criminal arrest for breaking and entering, 2 warrants served, and a juvenile arrest. When I say a juvenile arrest, the juvenile is being charged for juvenile services. They commit the violation, we report the information to juvenile service, and they decide whether to prefer charges or not. But that was down at the park, and my understanding, they're supposed to make restitution. That's with the door, right?
Yes.
They're gonna make restitution on that.
Yes, I got a quote, gave Tom the price and all.
Yep, and that was forwarded to them. Apparently, the grandmother raised them. They're gonna make restitution. That has nothing to do with the charging, but just so you know that that's taken care of. And then, the rest was on Green Fern Circle, and then we had, the warrant service for some traffic stop, Frederick County warrant. We had another one out here on Latin with Frederick County warrant, and then juvenile there in the park. The monthly activities, Amy did the mayor and council meeting while I was on vacation, and then myself and Emily and Ted did trick or treat. We did special traffic enforcement on Maple Avenue. We spent 13 hours sitting up there. We made 20 stops. And on Monument, the 3-way stop, we're getting complaints constantly. Of course, she's complaining that it's happening at 6:30. We don't normally start till 7. We work 7 to 3, one shift, and we do 11 to 7, and then we do 3 to 11. Or thereabouts, like tonight, I probably won't leave town at 11:30, 12 o'clock. But anyway, we did 3 hours there. We made 6 stops. People was calling in constantly. Everybody in town, apparently, they was on drag strips and going to get killed on that road. But we made 110 stops down there. And that's with one guy that's leaving. He left. Wes has left. He went to another job. And he gave nothing because he didn't let the show. So, I mean, so you figure we were down and off for the whole month. 110 stops in town. That's a lot of stops. I think, maybe I'm wrong. But I told the folks that still working with me that got to be out there and be seen and make the stops and hopefully things will straighten out. But again, everybody complains about the town, everybody speeding and running stop signs, and this was going to get killed, and that was going to get killed. The last video actually we had in town was a lady that had a medical problem and a woman that walked out from the street sweeper. We don't have many accidents down, and if the speed is the problem and running the stop signs and traffic lights and that kind of stuff, where's the accident? We're not there. So I know you folks are getting complaints, but I get them.
Well, I just I forwarded
Yeah,
an email that Scott, and I promised I'd bring it up at council meeting, but we did also get a thank you that they noticed you out there. stopping.
I mean,
So,
but what we got?
like I said, keep the presence up is all we can do.
Sometimes they can't see you where you park
Yeah.
that either.
Well, and again, I mean, the reason why I bring it up is because I know you folks are getting the same emails on it, so we're out there. Another thing I need to bring up is the old Tahoe that I had. Greg got a gentleman works for him that was like, the school never came got it. The teacher that was up there that was supposed to come get it, apparently he's went on to different places, so we still have that old Tahoe. Now Greg has somebody that's interested in it.
Curtis, why?
Yeah, I mean, we can get
Oh,
a.
the works guy.
Yeah, we get a blue book value of it if you want to charge him, but right now it's junk. You can't fix it. I think he wants it for the body.
He wants the body off, but he has the same exact copy, but his body's rusted out.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can get a blue book value of what the going rate is, or you all can work it out, but it's okay with you folks. I mean, that's what we're doing, instead of, we voted before that it go to the school, but apparently the school's not interested, they've got it last year when it was suspended, they never come out. So it's up to you folks what you want to do there, that will be, it's sitting at the, down there at Oldson's right now, after the guy that's working on the car. So, I mean, making a decision what you want to do with it, and again,
Is it part somewhere where it can be seen, like we could put a sign accepting
Not
closed
really.
bids
yeah, no.
till blah, blah, blah. and
We
let
have the
people-
tax on.
Yeah, it's not costing anything, it's sitting here, but I know, I'm sure the old one
Yeah,
get it out
I
of
was just trying to
that
think,
parking lot.
you know, what I mean, making it where we
Well, if
make
we were
it
gonna-
that it's offerable to, you know, the public.
we were gonna donate it anyway,
Yeah,
so
it's
why
got
don't we
that
just
there.
go ahead and give it to the board?
Well, that's up to you folks, I mean, that's,
Private citizen versus donating it to the school.
well, that's why I said we get a blue book value of it.
It's a guy.
Huh?
It's wholesale.
Yes, and if you're still interested, we'll do it that way, but that's, I'm just letting you know that which one.
He's an employee of the town?
Yeah.
If it's scrap, just do
Yeah,
scrap.
you get scrap value out of it, whatever scrap value is how you're gonna advertise. And he works
Can
on
you,
it.
I was like,
Find
say,
out what
you know what I mean,
scrap
if you
value
did like a,
is.
just a small closed
Yeah,
bid.
I'll get it down. It's sitting in there,
Maybe
it's locked
every
still.
person that bids,
Yeah.
and it's at
Just
least
do a
open
one-day
for
bid, and then do one-day advertisement.
It's still a closed bid, like Colin said, closed scrap bid one, I mean, because it's worth absolutely nothing but the bottom one.
I mean, I think the litigation of it and liability and that kind of stuff, I know where they were gonna donate it, but you do like a 24-hour sealed bid on it. Advertise it like you guys have to, and then
I'll get rid of it, yeah. And again, the school was just gonna use it for, it's the third parts of the back, yeah, that's what the school was,
That much.
they didn't.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we put a notice in the next newsletter accepting closed bids on that vehicle and let it run for next newsletter.
Yeah, newsletters until December.
Put some sort of notice like on the website.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's a place where there's
It's on
a
the
car
website,
park
accepting
with the
bids.
sign in the car.
We don't get
And
anything.
he's gonna have to figure out where we're gonna set it, because people's gonna want to see what it's doing.
That's what I'm saying. If you set it like
Same
at
way
the
it
car,
can be.
police parking lot where they put the sign on it.
Well.
I mean, you could
there.
do sight unseen. You could say sight
And you
unseen.
say,
can sell
yeah,
it.
okay.
Yeah, you can sell
They
it.
put it under the conditions where he is getting it. It
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
run. Yeah.
Oh, no, we can do it.
We can do it sight unseen. Yeah.
Do 24-hour sealed bid.
Will not be available, you know.
Since your old Tahoe.
The
bids
silver
on-
one, yeah.
No being available bids on, so I'd say make a motion, we put on the website, accepting bids for 30 days.
Can somebody go see it if they ask and then you tell them where it is?
You have to get off his, it's on Darren's Holden's private property. If there used to be a mechanic that was on Darren's property, and the mechanic left and went to Pennsylvania, and out the vehicles.
So
sat
the
there in
vehicle's
Darren's lot.
just sitting there and you guys.
And Darren's not complaining about it, but I'm sure he
Yeah,
wants it out. And it's not, again, this we hear one, that's why I'm bringing it
I
up.
mean, you just tow it, you have a tow in there somewhere.
Just telling
So
you, if I were.
Go behind the front
Box,
door.
that's it.
Does Darren have a
2
tow
weeks,
truck?
and if nobody gets it, we
Joey?
scrap value to,
One was got a tow truck. They got all other kind of trucks.
Yeah, it's called a tow strap. It's on the brake pedal.
Oh, I can get it here. If you want it in Boothboro, I'll get it here.
but they don't have to go inside of it, they don't have to drive it, and just say it could be.
Well, I can
be
drive
So you all decide what you want to do with that, how you want to handle it, and then
We got a motion on the floor by Ray.
Okay, so let me clarify the motion. I make a motion that we advertise on the town website for,
Do you want me to do Facebook too, or just town website?
do
For both?
for 15 days
15 days?
Whatever.
a week, I don't know, it's 15 days.
15?
Accepting sealed bids for this Tahoe. It can be seen behind the Public Works building if you want to tow it over there.
Or you could get your own
Or just say, or.
I'm just going to change it and drag it here in my work. Kevin ain't gonna say nothing.
Do it early in the morning before you come.
That's even better, I find, it comes up.
Do you remember when we drove those cars from down at the police department out to the auction?
Yeah.
Oh,
Why would we pay to sell it when we can just pictures?
I have to take a picture.
We can
Post a picture and then.
give me a picture.
Put a few pictures out. We're not.
You have to get the description from him, what's wrong with it.
Saying, vehicle.
You have to tell Kenny.
There'll be no inspections, vehicle will not
Just
be
make it
seen.
sound so
Accepting
ungodly
bids.
pleasant that nobody wants to buy it. So electrical issues, engine issues, transmission issues.
Everything's wrong.
We make it terrible.
Nothing works. Nothing
Just
works.
everything is
Be
possible.
honest.
Pretty much everything.
That is honest.
Say that is not provided.
Right?
All right, so how, what do I need to finish up the motion?
Typically, we advertise things for a week.
Advertise for 7 days.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
Pictures in it, and it, on it.
So I modify the motion, place pictures in there, 7 days. Bids only, no, cannot be driven, whatever, and sealed bids to town hall. And after 7 days,
Then can we add like, once they get it, there's a deadline to move it from that property, or we're gonna do it again.
I drive right by there. I drive right by there.
Kevin said he'll give me pictures too.
Yeah.
You can do it right there.
We got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to advertise whatever it is and get rid of it, so.
And watch, we'll get a stack of.
Yep.
I have a question for the chief.
Okay, well,
We
wait,
gotta
let's
vote.
vote. No other discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Go ahead, Kevin.
What you got?
So, I went down to see Amy one day because I was contacted by Mr. Andy Stone and Mr. Drew Olden, who both rent ground off of the Kenny Rose Associates things. And just because you and your guys are out and about all the time, there was, and I didn't know this today, we did the walkthrough, there's somebody storing construction equipment down there on the property that Drew is renting off the Kenny Rose Associates people. And he wants to know
Not me.
who it is.
Not you, not me.
Drew, I told Drew, he went down and took a look, and I just thought maybe you guys would have seen somebody back there.
There was a lady living back in that house, rent free.
No, there's all kinds of like piping and stuff. I thought maybe they were storing stuff where they were working on that bridge over there.
I don't work for that lady any longer, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you
People
see,
that have property.
if you see anybody back in there, ask them.
But like I said, there was a woman lived in that house.
Well,
Yeah, I know it,
okay.
I wouldn't, it's bad, but there's a woman living in there.
Well, anyway, just wondered if you.
No, I don't.
They're asking me. I told them.
Yeah. So finally, Wes blessed us. I got a guy coming in on Wednesday for an interview. It's interesting, come to work it. Hopefully things will work out with him, and that's what we're at as far as employment.
so I talked to Dave Ryder.
Yeah.
He did that, my leadership qualification, his qualification on it. So he's not teaching anymore at the,
No,
okay, his job is at the post.
well, he's done from up there working as a teaching, and he's working for a security company. He's the accountant, the bookkeeper, all kinds of stuff. When he gets tired, he don't kids and parents, just, he said enough's enough, so he quit doing that.
Anything else? Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Mayor, council correspondence. Anybody have anything to bring us up to date on done in the last month? I did have the opportunity this past Friday to go out to the Lynchburg High School at the Northern State program, and it was a very, very good program. So if you ever get a chance, go out to it. This year they moved it up to 9 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. But kids are very well respected. They enjoyed the program, so. Okay, anybody else have anything? Okay, new business. 2023 municipal government proclamation. I'm sorry, folks, but I do have to read this. If we want to stay Banner City, I'll have to do this. Keep our Banner City going for another year. Town of Boonesborough municipal proclamation. The mayor and council of the town of Boonesborough proclaim November to be municipal government works month. Whereas the town was incorporated in 1831, and whereas Maryland is the home to 156 other municipalities, whereas municipal government represents the most responsive level of government, allowing citizens to have direct access to elected officials, and whereas in an effort to educate citizens about municipal government and the importance of their participation, the town of Boonesborough is proud to promote municipal government awareness, and whereas municipalities have enhanced the quality of life for their representatives, residents maintain natural and historical sites and structures, and helping to make Maryland a great place to live, work, play, and explore. Now therefore be it proclaimed that Mayor and Council of the town of Boonesborough, Maryland, hereby joins the Maryland Municipal League in declaring November to be Municipal Government Works Month in Boonesborough. And witness whereof I have hereunto sent my hand and cause to be fixed the official seal of the town of Boonesborough, Maryland, this 13th day of November 2023. Do I have a motion to accept the proclamation?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carries. And we do have our flag out front to fly. Government works. Okay. Discussion and proposal by Environmental Commission.
Who have been patiently sitting there.
They have been patiently waiting and sitting there, she said.
The floor is yours, ladies. Sorry, it took us that long to get to you. You can stay there, or you're welcome to come up here.
The speaker, but we appreciate the opportunity to discuss the compost bin tonight and think of some potential improvements. Denise has worked hard to gather the information and has had the opportunity to talk to town maintenance to discuss some potential ideas as well. So, hand it over to him.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for being willing to have this conversation. The compost program is a very meaningful program to the environment. I'll start by saying that. And it has also been a successful program, given that we started it very quickly during the hottest weeks of the year, one of the hottest years on record. We certainly had that working against us. But at the same time, the program was being used. Following Key City Compost's weekly reports, they have a dashboard that I'm connected to, and they notify us when there's going to be a pickup, which of course it's every week, Thursday morning, but it's very regular source of information. They send a picture when it's been picked up. They put a fresh bin, a fresh compostable liner each week, and then report on the number of pounds that are collected. So I'm sort of, watching it through through their dashboard each week. And from the beginning of July, where the program began with little to no advertising even, we've collected 1,961 pounds of food scraps. The beauty of this program, as opposed to backyard composting, is that you can put things in the Key City compost bin that you really shouldn't put in your backyard compost. I've been composting in my yard for 30 years. And, but I can't put food, I can't put bones, meat scraps, dairy, things like that, because I don't want to attract rodents. But I've had a successful 2-bin system going on my property, and I know a lot of people, in town do their own composting. But there's a lot of things that you don't want to put into a backyard compost that you're using for your own gardening, that you can put into the compost that's going to be collected and composted in a hot compost environment. We've had the folks from Peak City Compost meet with us on multiple occasions to talk about their program, how they work. We've actually hired them to help us in the past with handling compost at Greensboro Green Fest events. So we have a history with Peak City. I feel they're a reputable company and are doing amazing things, and they're growing their program tremendously in Frederick County. I was a little concerned about having a Frederick County company come to do this not because I didn't think they could do it, because I didn't like the idea of anyone driving out of their way to pick up 1 bin of compost per week. It just seemed like maybe that wasn't the most environmentally sound method. But once we talked to them about their route, they're picking up in Middletown, and then they have an operation in Hagerstown. So we are literally on their path. So that made me feel more comfortable about proposing this kind of collection. So we are collecting anywhere from 55 pounds a week to 171 pounds a week, with an average of 103 pounds a week. And we've only been doing it since July. So it has been nice to see this well used. We haven't had any reports from Key City that it's been misused or things have been put in there that are inappropriate or unacceptable, because we would be notified of that as well through the stash board. Everything has gone quite smoothly so far, except for the odor during the hottest months. I didn't realize that there had been complaints. I did see that the bin was kind of moved further away from the entrance of the community center, and I moved it down the way myself over the summer months. But now that it's cooled down, odor doesn't seem to be an issue at all. I do like the way that you switch out with a fresh bin and liner every week. I think that will help overall. So again, disappointed that the council was ready to give up on the program without coming up with an alternative. So it sounds like, it's a good time for us to talk. And I'd like to see the program be even more widespread throughout the community. And I feel like we're just kind of just getting started on it. And, with success so far, but I'd like to see it be more successful. So I went down to the park the other day and met up with Greg, and the two of us, sort of walked the area around the community center, and then another alternative on another section of the community center parking lot. So we've advertised it pretty heavily that it's a community center. And there's a lot of reasons why I like the idea of it being there. Because of the use of the building and the fact that that's where food is prepared in multiple days a week. And then there's parties and things like that. So we see that the people from the Commission on Aging are using the recycling, which is great. People who have parties are using recycling. So the idea that they might use the compost as well was something that we took under consideration when we were thinking about the location again, we were not thinking about those super high summer temps. So Greg, you might want to take from here and talk about a possibility for the pad and the enclosure that we were talking about.
Yeah, so at the back of the community center, there's a little handicap ramp when the blacktop comes off into the grass. So that's what she suggested, to try to get it back there away from the community building a little bit, that people can still see it, but you won't smell it. So of course, you don't want that beside a building where people's at. It's just that, it's hard, it was horrible smell. Like she said, it was hot out. So I think if you get it back there away from it, it might take the smell away. If not, she picked another location up the side of the Warfelt Spring, where there's like the 3 little yellow pollards.
Oh, yeah.
There's a spot there that's not parking, it's just hashed off. So if we put it there and give her a try down at the community center, she really likes the spot down at the community center because it's back out of the way. If that don't work, at least get it up away from the public.
Is that in the shade down there?
Most of the day, yeah. Yeah,
Because that's probably why I was thinking that hot sun beating down on it for so many hours. This way it would be in the shade, would have less sunlight. That may help keep it.
Well, it probably isn't a problem during these cool months where it was sitting, right? That we could move it there and get people used to seeing it and being back to visible. Maybe we'd only have to move it then once we get back to the July, August heat, that maybe we try the back of other locate, you know what I mean? Whether, you know what I mean? I don't think it was a problem in the it just became a problem when it really started to smell.
Yeah.
Where this started out as, and where the council's in favor of the compost. The problem is the location and the smell. So the concept of it is fine. That's not an issue. So in citizens' complaints, you get enough complaints, you get that. And we kind of said, this is going to trial basis, and if it stinks, we're going to have to move it. It stunk, so we have to move it. So if you find a location, if this location, which I'm perfectly to try it again, we won't know until next summer, whether it's going to stink again. But, have some alternatives and.
Yeah, if I can elaborate on that, I can go into what you're alluding to there, Ray. When I went to Middletown initially to see how they handled their bin, it's in one of their parks, and they had a 3-sided enclosure right on the edge of one of their smaller parks. I think it's the Memorial Park.
Yes, Memorial Park.
Okay, thank you. And there had been a dumpster there at one point, if I'm understanding, and now this happened again. Barb has mentioned that the long row of recycling bins at the community center is probably could be better used if we had fewer of those out. And then, so what Greg and I were talking about is building just a small 3-sided enclosure that would match the trim of the community center building. We've already picked out a color. And have it big enough for a couple of the recycling bins and the compost bin, so we could have our signage. And then if during, to get back to what you were talking about in terms of the odor, if during those hot months, weeks, whatever, there is a situation where like, okay, we need to move it to the corner of the whole thing. And then we could just put the sign to direct people that, for the next month or so, it's going to be from the other corner of the lot. So you have that same place where the company knows to pick it up, the people know to take it, but if we end up with, a terrible heat wave, and it's still an issue, we can, utilize that other corner.
But in the meantime, you'll have the opportunity to allow them to reacclimate with the location, and only if you have to move it, then it won't be such a big blow. So that would be a lot easier to coincide with.
And I think this will help with the appearance at the community center. Maybe just leave one recycling bin next to the trash at the door. And then in the enclosure, at the end of, I call it the storage room.
Right.
Okay. It's right off the storage room. Inside that 3-sided enclosure, you can have a couple extra recycling bins for people who have overflow. Those do get used. You don't need 6 or 7. 3 would be sufficient. And then again, we improve the appearance, hopefully solve the odor problem. We have a plan B if we do still have issues during.
Actually, this is, Plan A was, this is Plan B.
Yeah.
So you have Plan C.
Yeah.
And when did we start this trial? We're going to do it for a year.
Started in July. Yeah, the collection, the first collection was July 6th.
Greg, any other comments on that? What do you think?
No, I'd give it a try, like she's saying, at the end of the blacktop, or just like, to see the smells, move it out of there.
The only suggestion I would have with that, sides and roof, have some vents, the air can circulate through the top of that, so it won't, that way.
It won't be a roof.
I was gonna say, won't be a roof.
Oh, it's just vents.
Oh, okay. Good enough. Yeah, okay.
Not back on the recycling section though. Before we would cut it too short, we actually have to bring our recycling bins over every week for pickup because we don't have recycling pickup at the sewer plant. Yeah.
That's why there's so many down there.
We have recycling bins, we don't have
They don't have
pickup.
Down there.
And we actually have to bring our stuff over every Monday for pickup.
You can bring your stuff, yeah, I do, Jesse.
You guys have pickup?
Yeah, we put 2 of them out every Tuesday, yeah.
But,
So.
If you need to, you can bring your stuff.
So,
You want to reset that time period?
I mean, I think that, yeah, to begin that year over, and, under these, you know, conditions, so to speak, I think that that would, be something that, we can work with for sure, and we wouldn't have to change any of the material that we've got now. I mean, the day that I heard about the council's conversation decision, I had just spent half of the morning walking around town, giving flyers to businesses and putting flyers out in.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, giving you guys a chance before it goes.
I mean, literally that day. I had just gotten another stack, picked up another stack of flyers from Brian, and I'm like,
What,
and the flyers are already stuck in the bills, the flyers, so.
So Terry reached out to me, your all's liaison, and she knew she wasn't gonna be here, and she's having surgery, and we had a conversation, Janine and I did before the meeting. I said that I wanted them to present their facts so that the council could give it a second consideration. In light of all of the new developments, and we do have more than one plan, a couple of options this time, I'd like to make a motion on behalf of the commission that we reinstitute the not the recycling, but the compost bin.
So
down
at the new location.
Yeah, with the new location and an option to move it if things get smelly and we gotta go over to the other area.
Yeah.
Second that.
You got a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions, concerns? Here you go. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstain. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Apologize for our hasty
And
decision.
thank you, Greg.
That was mostly my fault because people were complaining to me and I brought it to the day.
Yeah, just went on Greg's, you know, what I mean, recommendation, that was our reach to the platform.
I was just telling her, smell what people were complaining to me. I mean, my guys, so they were out looking for dead animals down
I was too, because I was walking the dog and I felt like I kept watching thinking about.
It kind of speaks to an issue that we don't all have direct lines of communication all the time, right?
Tell them what was in there.
Yeah, so, yeah, sometimes things get a little out of order.
I've already confessed to several people, so I may as well just make this public, Tony's recommending it. In my enthusiasm to use the compost bin, I put a bushel worth of crab shells in there during about a 99-degree week. And they, because they are in fact compostable in a commercial compost facility. And I probably should have waited until like the morning of the pickup,
Right.
but I just
Hindsight's
put
20/20.
them down there.
So it's kind of your fault.
It's just the smell. The concept was great. I'm for it. Just gotta find a place
I don't think it smelled like open, it smelled more like
Want
dead.
to point it out in the early period. before
Yes,
we-
yes, it was a test, it was a test.
Well, I can tell you, I think about it now, I have some things stacked in the freezer, I'm waiting for Thursday morning to take over there.
Farmer's market,
I'm glad you got.
who's speaking on that? You, Kathy?
Jan and I
Oh, okay.
are, Jan and I are. All right, real quick, I know time's getting late. I just wanted to tell everybody that we have had a fabulous year. At the farmer's market.
There you go.
I got it out.
There you go.
I have a chart here that our county marketing executive gave me. It's the 5-year farmer's market, Boonesboro Farmers Market attendance. And in the past 5 years, we have had 29,127 visitors at the farmer's market.
Great.
This year, we had 8,435 people visit. I would like to thank Jen because as you can see, the last 2 years have been really good and that's thanks to Jen, our new manager. She's done a bang up job getting vendors. We have had a slight problem getting food trucks to be dependable at our market. So that's one thing we'll have to work on this year.
We have that problem with the food truck.
Yeah.
Festival.
So that's just, that's.
They
Yeah, that's the thing. They move around.
We do a grove and they have no.
I think by moving to the police, in front of Eric Police Department on 34,
Location.
really
Because
helped you all out.
I agree, because we have people just driving through town, they see the banners,
You turn around and come back.
they turn around or they stop in and have you been here for a minute? This is my first one. I didn't even know you were here. Oh, we're on vacation. We're just going up to the campground. We saw you, we stopped in. And it's just been a really good location. Again, it gets hot in summer, but we're hoping to get trees planted, tall trees. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we have had 13 to 21 vendors. Depending on the time of the year, like some of them will drop out, the soap vendors might leave because it's too hot for soaps will melt, or the flower vendors, they don't have flowers anymore towards the end of the season. So on and so forth. We're one big happy family, everybody gets along, everybody just seems to be so happy.
They have entertainment now too.
Yeah, oh yeah, we have music vendors, music, entertainment. A couple times a month, story time.
Special events, dog day.
That's been a cute thing, it's been there for a couple of years, giving out milkweed seeds, for monarchs. One of the things, oh, and by the way, Mr. Morgan, your new police person, I can't remember his name. Tom. He stopped by one day and just kind of chatted and.
Oh, he'll talk to you.
That's true.
He made 100 of those 110 stops too.
He is a talker.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy. Yeah, it was really nice to see him. The one concern that we have is, Jenny might want to take this about the liability insurance. We require liability insurance of the vendors. We have local arsons, craftsmen, and other vendors that would love to join us, but since we require liability insurance, it's their responsibility, they can't afford it. Most people have riders on their house insurance or something like that. Now, Janine, didn't you say Greencrest didn't require it?
We did not require individual liability policies from the vendors. We brought it before the council very early days, Greencrest still had vendors. And it was decided by the council at that time, that, since it was a town event,
On
that-
town property.
that the town, that the individual vendors didn't need to supply that. And every time we have a vendor or a new craftsperson or whatnot who just wants to get involved, sell their wares and they're not set up as a business, we always think it's a shame that exclude them from the event. And I just wonder what we wondered if there was a way that we, that maybe we don't need to have that requirement of the vendors. What your thoughts were?
The historical society, what do they have? They don't have it either, do they?
Those birthdays, do they?
They do not require it for those road days.
But see, that's on the park. And we're,
This is the part.
Yeah, you're on the park property too. Yeah.
That's the question to ask the attorney.
They ask the attorney.
What the liability is, and should they be having them?
Right.
right, because our main thing, according to our marketing executive is, well, if a customer trips over the tent, who are they going to sue? Are they going to sue the vendor, are they going to sue the town, or?
Or sue both?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody, everybody they can, anybody and everybody.
All right,
Yeah,
so,
we're looking at that, but I don't see why we couldn't have that as a insurance, but that is something that we would check before any of that's answered. Make sure it's,
Before you start.
it's a little different, that type of event's a little different. So, a lot of individuals selling,
Yeah.
it can be very random because you get different vendors, I'm assuming, throughout the season. So,
I don't know, I'm
things like that.
They're gonna, we'll check.
Insurance umbrella.
Fire, I don't know, it might limit your, any carrier.
We will have to check any of that office. We don't
Yeah,
know.
we'll have to check
Yeah,
into
I mean,
that.
and because I don't really know what,
But you're no
if
different.
the food truck event or the Greensburg days, I don't know how it works for those entities. I just know that we brought that up with the council at the very inception of the Green Fest, and we were assured at that time, and it's been a while, that it wasn't necessary, which made it very helpful for startup vendors, because it kept the cost low, and they were able to,
But basically, y'all are no different than what Pittsburgh Days is,
I know,
just smaller,
exactly.
because they sell food and things out here in Pittsburgh.
Right, a lot of our vendors are just
Yeah.
cottage business.
Food vendors are normally required insurance.
right,
Food,
exactly.
Yes, yeah.
And exactly.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. And health.
They get.
Road days recommends it, they don't require it.
We should alcohol at the food truck.
I'm a vendor, but, no, we'll check in with their attorney, but plenty of time before you start next year.
Applications in January. We start the applications, like sending them out first, after the first of the year.
After the first year.
Yeah, not by March for sure.
Okay.
They're gonna be sent
I'm gonna
out.
reach out to you by the beginning of December, just get it.
That would be great.
Thank you.
So a crazy question, none of your vendors charge sales tax because they're all selling food?
It's up to the individual
No.
vendor, how they handle
They
that.
might include it.
Somebody made the comment that they're not set up as a business, so I wonder if the sales tax.
There's a way, if you're doing things on a small scale, I remember this from when I sold pottery back in the day, just occasional events, that you can do a temporary tax.
Tax ID number.
And then send a check, you're essentially honor system.
Kind of like people
There's
doing yard.
there's a process. There's a
It's
process.
had more than a couple of years too.
Yeah.
There's a process for that, and it's.
Yeah, I just saw that. I mean, my little business thing that I play with, I have a sales and use tax number and I have liability insurance. So I'm just trying to equate.
And the health department comes through there, I mean, they're regulating,
It's really not the food, It's not the food vendors that's the issue, it's some that are selling non-food items that are interested in participating. And they're the ones that typically don't have all the things in place. But that we would like for them to be able to be part of it.
Sure.
Especially if they're local folks.
Well, we'll check in, put in touch.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else for the ladies? Okay. Drew, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody's got to swing your chairs around. Okay. Don't swing your chair around, that's fine.
So one of the things that I was digging around in the resolutions and the ordinances, I was backtracking annexation agreements and other things that you guys have asked me to compile, find them out. So I was researching back through the stuff, but I came across a couple of ordinances that caught my eye. These are zoning administrator fees. These are what your residents pay. This is not developer fees, this is not that world. This is what your residents pay when they come in the door. For their building permits, their decks, their fences, their sheds, zoning appeal, any of those things, that's what your residents pay, okay? Now, contractors doing work on your house would apply for it, blah, 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 you follow. But that's what your fees are, okay? That's according to what was approved, or what we found was approved. But when I went through, I used this one example, I found 3, but this is one I just showed for you. It's not consistent, it's inconsistent. You can see that the current fees that we're charging, 75 and 125, well, there's a resolution from 2008 that said it's supposed to be 140 and 195. So, talked to Jared about this, talked to Kim about this, we talked to Brian, we went through all the records, and what we're proposing to the council is to say, look, rather than us spend hours and days tracking back every single piece, we're asking for the council's permission to come to you with a new fee schedule that's simpler than this and very simple for your residents to use. Keep in mind, the idea behind these fees, this is where it gets a little, you have to remember, the idea behind this is that when you're developing something, and in this case, it's a home improvement or attached garage, you're not the big developer, right? But you are developing something. The town is not supposed to use tax dollars to pay for that. People are supposed to pay a fee that covers the cost of the review. Remember what I'm required to review. I have to review the use and setbacks. That's all we give them. We give them a zoning certificate that says that use that they're gonna do, whether it's commercial, residential, whatever, is permitted. And if they're putting a structure on the property, doesn't meet the setback requirement. That's all we do here. Now, when I find out about things, we share, we have conversations, it goes through public works, don't misunderstand me. But my time to review a typical permit isn't much more than 30 minutes. It really isn't. I gotta look up the zoning, I verify the property owner, blah, 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 and then I can send a letter. It doesn't take a lot of time. Now, that's most of them, okay? Every once in a while, you run into one like we had on North Main Street, Mr. Dixon. That took me 5 days and 2 weeks. I mean, it was just phone calls, and so you get those some, but that fee is supposed to represent that. I look at some of these fees and I think that there's a way to simplify this for our town residents. I'm not sure why we're charging 10 cents a square foot for improvements in the house. Doesn't really make sense. We're not doing the inspection. The county charges all of those fees because they send inspectors out. So what I'd like to do, and what I'm asking for your permission, is to come back with a fee schedule that's simplified, and if you approve it, after you've discussed it or whatever, then we would adopt it as a zoning administrator fee schedule. And in your ordinance, you would have the entire fee schedule. And every time you would ever update it, you will update it by striking through the old and showing the new. So you don't have to go back and find. So if you wanted to change an individual one, you would still approve the entire fee schedule. You would just show the change that's happening. You're keeping them all together versus addressing them one at a time, creating resolutions one at a time, and then they get missed. So I'm trying to wrap up the inconsistencies because this is where we collect money. So I'm here happy to answer any questions. All we're asking tonight is to give us permission to come back to you with a fee schedule that's simplified and we're good with that.
I'm assuming you make them reasonably
Yes.
let other municipalities.
Exactly.
So we will come back next month with a draft fee schedule, updated draft fee schedule with the reasons as to why we came up with the numbers. Drew and I have already talked about this a lot. And what we will do is come up with a resolution. We have to have a public meeting, so we would discuss it next month and then have a public meeting before the following council meeting and adopt it there. And now that resolution will then be the resolution for our fee schedule, which will take away the previous resolutions that you guys.
So Eric at one point in time talked about like the things should be reviewed and put on the schedule. So is this something like we should incorporate in with our annual budget? when we're doing the-
Exactly. I mentioned this to Drew one day. There were two things we talked about here. One of them was this, and it should be reviewed annually. And the second thing was the employee salary caps should be reviewed and addressed annually. So this is great, what you're proposing. We had talked about it before, Professor.
And again, you're gonna have a couple of these fee schedules. There's one for the zoning administrator fee. This is basically what your residents pay. Then there's a development one where you're reviewing water and sewer changes, improvement plans, site plans. Those are big numbers because, yes, I will have to sit down with a set of plans for 5 or 6 hours and go through it. Meet with Jared, meet with Greg, meet with Pete, meet with Jesse, figure out, what those issues are. So those fees are different, but we're gonna tackle this one first.
Right.
And I'm tackling this one first because this is what affects your voting base right now. That's what they get when they walk in the door. And we want to explain something that's simple, easy, collect it, move on, and they go get their building permit, et cetera. So after finding this, I'm just telling you because I'm a little OCD. I'm going to do this with your tap fees, and I'm going to do this with your other fees, your water and sewer rates. I want to go back and find it, make sure everything's current. And then what would happen is every budget year, you would have the fee schedule review, and you would look at the zoning fees, the developer fees, water and sewer rates. Does there need to be a change? Maybe there does, maybe there doesn't. That's your decision, not here, but you should have the fee schedule to look at and see what you may or may not want to do.
This thing here, I guarantee you, we reviewed it a year ago. Because I remember I went to look at it and proposed what the increases were supposed to be.
Right.
And it was a long time after July of '08. So I don't know what the heck happened to it.
Well, I think what you're saying is maybe we didn't.
They were approved as just motion and not actual, a resolution hasn't been done for these for a long time.
So everybody needs to remember, anytime you charge a fee as a municipal government, to establish that fee, you must hold a public hearing, period, end of story. There is no, if you're gonna charge a fee for anything, you gotta hold a public hearing for that fee. Can't hold a public hearing for, like, let's say a text amendment and you throw in a rate change. Always break your rates out separate so that everybody can go back and look at it, because if the attorneys get angry and they start digging around, they're gonna go right to the fees.
So you're saying this is the last time you had a public hearing on this subject?
Or at least follow.
I was going through the book and I came across 3 of these, okay? I just gave this one as an example. I didn't do like a detailed search because I was actually looking for annexation agreement resolutions. But that was another process. When I read it as this, while I was doing it.
We did another one. We did another rate schedule of different fees.
So not only do we need the fee, you develop the fee schedule, but also an actual policy of procedure.
Correct.
I remember doing the fee schedule, the update of the fees when Ethan was here.
Yes.
And then, like Eric said, maybe a year or so ago.
We did one with Riley, but that was the last.
But see,
It doesn't matter, it won't matter.
right, so the resolution will pass, will say this supersedes and replaces all other ordinances related to these
That way
fees.
we don't have to go back and find individual times you guys.
You need a motion for this?
Need a motion.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we move forward to developing a zoning fee schedule draft policy for council review.
And I'll second.
We have a motion, a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain? Motion carries. Go for it.
Thank you. And can I say, I do appreciate you, I know that there's contingency with the home being fixed and living in the RV on.
There's contention, not no contention.
But, or contention, whatever, sorry. I do appreciate, I don't think our goal with the council is to find somebody out of existence. Because obviously, if you're living in a motorhome to fix up your house, you can't afford. So I get moving the goalposts versus finding
Proportional
steps. And I
stop
appreciate
and
that.
think.
We don't,
He
we're a
wants his
small
pound of
town, we
flesh.
want to be,
He wants his pound of
yeah,
flesh.
but we're a small town, we want to work with
If
people.
the shoe would be on the other
Yeah.
foot, when
They
you
would
want to be
want-
treated the same way,
Exactly.
absolutely.
I can't help
Compassion.
what
I
happened
wanted to
before.
say-
I can only take care of what I'm doing now. And as I told him, and I know he didn't like to hear it, as long as they're sending me pictures and keeping in contact with me and they're moving forward, I'm gonna work with them.
But if their communication stops, and you revert.
And they know that.
Right, and you revert back, and I get it.
The fees are racking up every day, okay?
And it's
I'm just not sending them until
Right, I get it.
it's the weight that keeps them over. Because I think in all honesty, and I've met with them 4 times personally, and they send me emails on Friday, and then they send them to me on Monday. We lit a fire under their rear end. They are moving now. I can't speak to how fast they moved before. But it was enough that when his wife, partner, whatever it is, I don't know these days, whatever it was, she was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of living in the RV. So she wants out. So, I mean, if the woman wants out, it's gonna happen. Question there.
That's right.
So it's gonna happen. Now, is it gonna be exactly 1 week or is it gonna be 10 days or, they're moving in. Again, as long as there's progress, let's keep it going.
I'll say the reason why we're doing it this way, we want to be consistent with everybody that comes in here that we have an issue with.
Right.
We are not in the business of making money off of our residents in this way. But the point of this is,
We want compliance, not the fun.
to light a fire under them, as long as they're moving towards what they tell us to move towards, if they're checking that, then we're gonna work.
And we did everything. Yes, we checked with the county about permitted signs, and they said they're doing everything. They don't need any signs. We've been over backwards.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, anything else come before the council?
I do have one thing, I don't know if this is the right time since you asked. I signed a check about a month ago for the lawyer's review of the information we were going to pass out to businesses related to protesters. And I was hoping that we would get to see that, what's gonna be passed out before it was passed out. I don't know if it passed out yet.
It has some, no.
I'll get to that on the EDC presentation.
Yeah, I just want to see what.
And I'll give you an update when I have. Do.
Okay.
Okay, park board. Great.
Well, thank you. The meeting was called to order at 7:01. Let's see.
That's gonna be easy getting all jumped up.
I've had this for about a week. It's finally, finally get rid of it. I think this is the downtown beautification project. The landscape architect is reaching out to the state highway for a list of approved plans for the Schaefer Park entrance. When this list is received, it will be forwarded to the park board for input. Of course, this golf update, we all know about that. The park path phase 4 update, we all know about that. The tree board update, there was no meeting. It was a meeting, but it was quickly, they didn't really discuss much. Old Time Christmas, everything's in place. Wise will be donating cookies and hot chocolate. There was a motion to approve $150 to purchase a large tree for the park, if need be, if the park approved it. New business, Schaefer Park stream buffer. An email was received from Susan Simonson concerning the mowing of the buffer zone along the creek in the park. This was discussed at the park board, at the park board meeting with the, and how she had this was discussed at a park board meeting with the town manager will be scheduled to address the problem and replanting of the buffer. Until a meeting can be scheduled, yours truly will contact the public works crew about not mowing within 5 feet of the street bank, which I did. And turn the mower the other way so it's not blowing into the street. After the meeting, the town manager will get advice on the kind of plans that would be most beneficial for the project.
She thinks she did reach out to me?
Yeah. You was supposed to,
I've not heard it.
yeah, you were supposed to be at the meeting, but you didn't show up.
I was?
Yeah.
She told her I was coming.
Shame on you, but yeah. Meeting was adjourned at 7:50, and next meeting is November 29th at 7 o'clock, Community Center.
Anybody got any questions of Rick? Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Looking forward to, hopefully the weather's decent for the old town Christmas.
Yeah.
What time is the parade? Supposed to be up at the cemetery, 6?
Yeah. What do we usually do, at 6?
Yeah.
I think we need it. I'm afraid.
Let me look. I'll let you know.
Okay, good enough. Thank you. BMUC, Henry?
Sure. We last met on October the 18th under old business, the wastewater treatment plant sludge dewatering facility. New construction photos of work progress were shared. It was stated electrical work will begin the following week. Footers are complete and the truss are in place. Stream bank restoration project. This is a tandem project ongoing at the wastewater treatment plant so that the sewer plant can dispense into the wetlands. 2 crews are working together to complete the project. One side of the stream bank is complete. Trees have been removed and they've been embedded into the ground to create a vegetation growth within about 3 years. Also continue with old business under the auction house sewer connection. The NX property there had never been on public water or sewer. They did take the option to connect to water only and maintain their septic system. The property owner recently worked along with an engineer and Washington County Health Department to make required improvements to the existing septic system. Washington County Health Department stated no additional expansions without connections to the public sewer. Branded Restaurant is open and there is no time frame on future sewer connections. Future connections to the sewer system will require planning and most likely a pump station. If any additional connections are picked up with the new sewer, it could result in MS4 credits. That would be a good thing. Additional TAP approval. It was stated by the town planner, Mr. Bowen, that legally the town is responsible for 1 tap for every lot of record. Moving that along with new business, EDUs and calculations for methods. It was stated by the town planner that the fixture unit count was the most accurate way to determine EDUs. The BMUC unanimously voted to develop policies and procedures to calculate future demand and the application process forwarding onto the mayor and council. Water and sewer application process and fees, town planner Bowen stated the proposed process would be something as follows. Number 1 would be a site plan submitted to planning. Step 2 would be a planning commission reviews and approves or denies. Step 3, with the planning commission approval, it will be moved over to the BMUC for some type of certification. Step 4, the planning commission will decide if it's approved or denied. If it's denied, the project simply is stopped and halted and doesn't move forward. Step 5, the plan would be revised and resubmitted to the planning and zoning. And step 6, you would receive a final plat and recording. And step 7 would be accepted. Restrictions on utilities within the town right away. You know, we had that problem with the water leak out there in Kenzie Heights, and it was noted that we're going to put that on hold until the town planner has a chance to review and research more completely. Under the systems report, we had that large leak in Kenzie Heights and the water line, and we found fiber optic lines were there somewhere where they weren't supposed to be, which resulted in a rather large water leak, and it hindered the public works response. Estimated 450,000 gallons of water were lost. Moving from that, Keedysville had emptied their water tower for service and it caused many concerns for the Keedysville customers until the tower was refilled. Last thing they had was that they wanted to have a dedication of the dewatering facility. There was a unanimous decision by the DMUC to recognize Ray Cigar Huffman for his many years of dedication to the town, and he was a major proponent of the dewatering press project. They're asking that we recognize his commitment and service to the town somehow with the dewatering facility. We meet again this Wednesday, November the 15th at 6 p.m. and our man Eric will not be here because he's going in for surgery. And good luck with that.
Thanks, I hope I'll wake up.
It's an honest concern.
Anybody have any questions of Tony? Hearing none, thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Very good report, Mr. Nally.
Thank you. Mr.
There's
Kitchen.
definitely a relationship forming between the BMUC and the planning.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a good thing. So now I get to try to follow up what Drew's already said. So we did meet on the 24th of October. Under old business, there was only one item, that being the comprehensive plan. Drew already spoke to that a little bit. Goals and scheduling joint meetings. So Drew says that the thing that we want to do is have these joint meetings, planning commission, utilities, mayor and council, to get everyone on the same page. So he's just asked everyone to start thinking about, that topic, and I've thought about it a little bit and have some notes to pass on to him when the time's right. So he's going to be working on scheduling these meetings, and the first meeting is going to be the planning commission meeting with utilities, is what he was indicating. So that's sort of the high level on that. Under new business, he came to the planning commission and gave the same talk that he gave the utilities commission about EDUs and calculation methods. The planning commission in a previous meeting had asked about, well, what's going on with highs? Why were they told it was going to be 18 to 20 EDUs to come on board? So Drew looked into it, and there's basically different ways, as Tony started to talk about there, to calculate how many EDUs. And I think if I understood what he was explaining, if you're gonna build a 6,000 square foot building, the easiest way to do it is based on square footage, it's as many EDUs. But that's a very high level. If you want to get to the very lowest level, you figure out what's going to win that 6,000 square foot building and count fixtures, count toilets, sinks, everything. So what they did with highs, they basically took the square footage and said, it's as many EDUs. They didn't consider how many toilets, sinks, a car wash. So I think that's my explanation in a nutshell. So that was the talk that he gave there. He talked about under new business development updates, which he also alluded to here this evening. The Fluke property on whatever the heck they call that, the north side of 68, and the TT&K property on the south side of 68 are basically going to join forces and come up with a more comprehensive plan for the development of that entire property. Of course, Warrior Boulevard that'll come across as part of that, and the emergency services acreage that they're proposing to put a joint ambulance, fire hall, police, that whole thing out there. So that's all kind of in the works. Fletcher's Grove and Chase 6 out here, that realignment. The Planning and Zoning Commission has indicated that that is their number one priority, the Chase 6 coming across there. And there was some question about Mr. McElwee's house and the funding sources for that. I've since gone in to talk to Jared. There were 3 funding sources for that project, and I know Jared's still working on that. Then Drew also provided his staff reports in that meeting, which he's also given the same staff reports here. And just under Mr. Parmley's around the table, they get into all kinds of other subjects. And the one that came up in there was the one that always comes up, speeders through Sycamore Run. And I know when Greg and I and Drew went out on the walkthrough, there was discussion about people just go straight through the roundabouts and they've run over the trees and that sort of thing. So that's something that just comes up all the time. And then I also saw an email Mary Lee had sent around, I guess, from Kenny Ashball about out here at school. So, I mean, it's just the same old stuff, but they get to going in that meeting about every darn subject that they can think of. So that's all I had there for that meeting. I don't know if I missed anything new. We're gonna meet again at the end of this month.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions? There, public safety, Mary Lee.
All right, public safety met on October 19th. One thing I didn't get an update on was life vests. I know Chief talked about it getting life vests before. That was brought up about the PD getting those life vests.
For choking people.
Yeah, for choking.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with that
So,
yet,
yeah.
but the money that we're going to use for that is the money that we see
Gotcha.
in that drug thing up here.
But just, so it's no update yet,
Yeah.
okay? I know the CPR equipment that the town bought, there wasn't a class, I don't know how well attended it was, on Saturday, October 28th, for those stop the bleed and CPR that the town had bought, things. Sycamore Run, again, there was talk about the yield versus stop sign, so whenever you get an update, if we can give that to the safety commission. They have been doing sidewalk, issues, making sure they're, ADA and, repairs, so again, council manager is gonna have to give me guidance on how we want to proceed when they finally get to that. And the one thing I did not get to bring up, which I forgot last month and we discussed again October, was there was some issue about parking on North Main, kind of there where 66 and North Main hits. So, sometimes people can't go around turning cars. And I talked about getting it on the agenda, but it kind of got squashed up. I didn't know whether I know we can't paint it red on State Highway or something, or the State Highway, I don't know whether there's just, if we want to have a discussion about that and give a recommendation to Highway, or
The thing
what
to
to
do,
tell the group on.
we're gonna have to find out who the new engineer is for our district. But when they did the streetscape, we put in a request for that to be a left turn, and then it goes over and no
Yeah.
parking. And they said absolutely not, it wasn't wide enough
Right.
that they could do that. And therefore, we had to leave it open and people could use that for parking. You're shaking your head,
No,
but that's what State Highway told us when the streetscape went in.
Gotcha.
I don't know whether they still have an engineer up in LaVale or not, and they would give us permission to do that, but I seriously got out. And we still are working on, they promised us a long time ago, coming out of town. Derek Maple, they was gonna take that right turn signal out and put a no turn on red.
So maybe
And
the
that hasn't
discussion
got
would be
done.
that, we just write a request again or something. And again, I don't know whether council wants that, but the safety
No,
committee has talked about,
It's been a
it
pretty
is
long
kind of a
time.
little hazard when there's, people aren't used to somebody parking there, but somebody was.
Somebody was parking there for
They
about a week,
parked
but they
there.
had.
They haven't been again for a while. We talked about that, so I'm just bringing it up.
But when you take Boothburg days, that's park, people are parked there during Boothburg days. walk through the park.
Kevin,
You're not, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not supposed to go around somebody there.
Actually, you're allowed to.
You're not allowed to leave the roadway.
Yeah, but you're leaving the roadway. Your old officer's the one who had somebody pulled over up there, Sean Fate, and he's the one that told me that. He said, you're not allowed to go to
I
the right
thought
way.
that they changed that.
Yeah, I think
specifically for
that's the thing, you're not allowed to leave the roadway, but you can use a hard surface. You can use the shoulder now.
Anyhow,
But and there's also a charge about parking in an intersection, but that's not a normal intersection. I mean, you've got 3, 4, actually, Rosewood, you got
Yeah, it's kind of
Schoolhouse
weird.
Court that goes up, that, and Schoolhouse
Yeah.
Front, that goes up, you got Main Street, you got Maple Avenue. So, I mean, it'd be nice if they would paint a section of that red so no one would park there, but I don't, like you're saying, Howard, I don't think.
So, again, I think the safety commission is just asking for discussion or
Yeah.
or making the request again. So
We
the
can
next
ask them again,
meeting,
depends on the engineer.
the state highway and the board were supposed to be redoing that whole intersection, and none of that's happened.
Well, that's just their intersection going into the school.
But the crosswalk and all, they were supposed to upgrade that, like you were talking about.
They did. They put the.
But they didn't get rid of the.
But they didn't get rid of,
Right,
they didn't get rid of the
finish
light.
their job.
They didn't get rid of.
The next public safety committee meeting is Thursday the 16th. I can't attend because I'm a Ravens fan, but Ray has volunteered to attend for me.
So
However, I got.
there were a lot of emails going back and forth.
Kim says see everybody.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that, they may be canceled. So I will let you know.
Not me, Kim.
Oh,
Right.
Kim, the chair of the-
Although I will do that if you want me to.
You can do it.
Sorry.
So
There
I'm
was
going-
debate, the chair
Check
can't
with
make
Kim.
it, 2 other members can't make it. They're probably gonna vote to not have a meeting. And it'll be that. So I will let you know.
I'm on the thread already, so. Okay.
That's it?
Mhm.
Anybody got any questions? Hearing none, thank you. EDC.
Last meeting was October 25th. I already told you guys Drew did the presentation, and it was great. Thank you for doing that. We had a ribbon cutting on the 10th, Friday, for the new chiropractor across the way here. Chiropractor, got a nice office, brand new x-ray machine, all that. I hope he does well. He's got quite a bit invested in there. So that was very nice. Ace Hardware opened up. We're not gonna have their ribbon cutting until December 8th. Pathfinder Distillery, Moonshine Spirits, did start open their, soft open their new shop here where the old tattoo place was. We're not gonna have a ribbon cutting for them until about the first week of December. I don't have a date on that yet. Branded Chop House is open. Mr. DePietri wants to wait until all the businesses are open. He's expecting a Porto and, you know, have a couple different businesses in there. So he wants to do them all at once. So we really have no idea when that's going to be. There was an issue. EDC was concerned and wanted us to explore, well, remember the community wants to explore sending out some kind of written guidance on how to deal with the protesters. And that all goes back to Mr. Porter, which all seems to have calmed down quite a bit now. Jared reported to us, and logically, the opinion of the town attorney, we don't get in that business. That the town doesn't put out anything on how to deal with protesters, simply have them contact law enforcement. But, so EDC is not going to do anything official on that. And I don't think that's necessary. We can have word of mouth to make suggestions to people, but they're common sense suggestions. So no policy on how to deal with that. You can something into a jam with that. We're having a mixer. All the commissions and all the council is invited. Hopefully you've RSVP'd. It's $10 a person. It's going to be on the 21st, which is Tuesday at 5 o'clock at the American Legion. It'll go a couple hours, and all the commissions, we did this before at the National Road Museum. We had a great turnout. Chance for all the commissions to get together and work together. So it's a good. Yes.
What time does it start the next week?
Okay. Mingle time is 5. Doors open at 5. I think presentation on at 6 o'clock. If you want to get there at 5, have your beverage and hang out. Yeah.
Shoot the bull.
Shoot the ball.
We should get one. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah,
On nothing other than the protesters, I checked with Teresa Kuhn, the new director of MML. She sent me to Legit, and Legit basically said the same thing as their attorney, but they said they know some other municipalities that had some problems, so they'll give you some information. And when they get gathered up, they'll send it to me. So
They stay in our lane.
that's what MML said too. Said you're just opening a can of worms. So, Thank you, sir.
Any word on the Admiral?
There's no, I haven't heard any from a planning standpoint. I can only tell you, they've had cherry pickers out there for the last 2 or 3 weeks. They've repainted everything, so I don't know everything they're doing is not permit related because it's paint and stuff like that. But somebody's spending a bunch of money doing something, so I would assume they're working toward a goal.
Yeah. Nothing official. I've heard rumors.
Well, I thought there was a sign that had posted coming soon or something.
They got it on the door, and I think they applied to have the alcohol license.
Oh.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of that yet.
First of the year, so that's.
Just wondering.
I heard it's just paperwork problems that they gotta get done before they can get open. Gotcha. Because of bankruptcy filed.
Oh, the trade picture, or the stuff in there.
Yes, they gotta be separate.
But I guess it's gonna be they will upscale. I don't know, upscale from what? Upscale from Dan's, upscale from vendors? I don't know what they're.
Greg's down the hatch.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
one comment that Ray said, I know it mentioned this to Drew as well. So the auction house out here where the new restaurant is, they expect to have some more businesses in there.
Yes. Right.
Now, as I understood from Drew, they will be required to get on town sewer before any more places in the existing building can open.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had a meeting with Mr. DePietro today. He stopped in.
Okay.
And we had a long discussion about that. Yes, he knows. He knows he has to do a fixture unit count. He knows that he's gonna have to comply with that. Now, again, he's not buying water. He already gets water. He's gonna be buying sewer, which is after we get through the zoning fees, I'm gonna go through the tap fees and make sure those are all right too, just so we just get everything. We wanna be consistent all the way through.
They have applied for the, oh, shoot. Mine just went blank. Former,
Yeah, I think Senator Quarterman was talked to us about.
yeah, they talked to, yeah, but they also applied for,
Great.
oh,
Chief.
no, the guy up in Garrett County, retired
Oh,
senator.
Senator Edwards.
Edwards, George Edwards Fund, grant money. They
Okay.
applied for that. I think they applied for $750,000 because that's what the health department gave them an estimate of that kid on the sewer.
Don't hold our breath for ribbon cutting.
It'll be a while. They got the pizza place, the coffee shop.
Yeah, they got
brewery,
Forno and.
They gotta run a force main up state highway right away. It'll be a little while.
It'll be a while. Okay. There will be a while. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Environmental Commission, you filling in for Terry?
I am, unless Kathy wants to let it fly. I got the highlights. Is that?
Go ahead and read it.
Okay.
Might add a little bit to it.
Okay. They last met on October the 10th, and Terry's got some things highlighted for me. Under public education and outreach, they're gonna have a speaker on November the 14th. Horizon Goodwill will be at their next November meeting.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay, yes, tomorrow to discuss operations and recycling initiatives. Sustainable Maryland certified, the commission members, Vesley reported that Boonesborough has been Sustainable Maryland recertified again, correct? Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Commission member Vesley plans to attend Middletown's Green Team meeting in December to learn best practices on how they operate, and Vice Chair Laura may attend as well. Neighboring Keedysville has been certified as a green community as well. Congrats to Keedysville. And under community garden, the community garden management team will be putting the bid out for the fence very soon and continues to work on the garden rules and regulations. I don't have anything else other than the fact that you guys are meeting again tomorrow, November the 14th.
That's right. We're having our guest speaker. Everybody's welcome. Should be a good on how Goodwill operates. I think they do a really good job keeping as much as they can out of the landfill. Can I have one more thing?
Sure.
Maybe two? Regarding Sustainable Maryland, our green team is it's a skeleton group. And we're really trying to recruit more people. Anybody that wants to join us, we're going to meet every other month. And we'll let you know, maybe the next year we'll have some information. If you're interested, anybody?
Have you ever thought of like joining up with Keysville and like
No,
a joint, because I know, I think Keysville's trying to get that going, so maybe.
I talked to her over a year ago about becoming certified, but since they're newbies.
Yeah, they have a new manager and they've got some new interests over there, maybe, you know, and you could have a joint meeting and it would benefit.
That's a great idea. I'll write that down. Yeah. But we want to get schools, churches, businesses all involved because we're all part of this sustainable Plymouthboro. And then one more thing about the farmer's market. Greg, I want to thank you and your team for, Brian and Ernie in particular, for putting the banners out at over 30 every Tuesday morning. To let us know that farmer's market is here today. And I'd also like to thank the regulars who came all the time. Can I mention names?
Sure.
Kim.
I keep the farmer market in business.
And Ray and Susan, and I know I've seen Christy. Anybody else that I haven't seen, but you're more than welcome to come. We love to have you. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything?
Mary, who's new?
Don't ask me her name, but she was she's new. My sister-in-law on Keysville Council, so I get kind of stuff.
That's great.
Yeah, Lisa's new town manager. I forget what Lisa's
I
last name
can't, I
is.
cannot remember her name.
Her husband's on.
Jesse said, what do you have, Jesse?
Yeah.
I just know that we've been talking, you know, talking about, she'll ask me, how do you do this?
It's still a part-time job. It's like a 30-hour-a-week town manager.
Getting more and more.
Reiner.
Reiner, yes, Lisa Reiner.
All right, in New York.
And also, Old Time Christmas starts at 6:30,
6:30.
so I'm thinking line up, what, 6:15, whatever it is.
See, depends on how cold.
Yeah, 6 to be safe.
You gonna send us an email about that?
I'm gonna be frosted.
Just want to let you,
Flat.
just want to let you know. Ray just has a new member.
This is my new medal. You're not the only medal winner around here.
But y'all finally went about it.
Yeah, we finally beat the Yankees, so we're right there.
Okay. All kidding aside, I need a motion to go into executive session as provided under General Provisions Article 3-305B1, subsection I, to discuss the appointment, employment, assessment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction and should have no longer than 2 minutes.
So,
Second. Got a motion and a second. Thank you
Thank you
all.
all. It's Old Time Christmas the first year.